Reacting to Meatloaf Legacy. This is one of my favorite channels. 2021 Q&A. It was a Q&A that Meatloaf did in 2021, and somebody wanted me to react to the 2021 version, and there is one from this year, and the one from this year is going to be a little bit more sad for me to watch, but let's see what questions they had to ask Meat here. Probably going to get sad here. So we know you hate this question, but where did you get the name Meatloaf? Oh my goodness, they've asked him that so many times.
But what do you want to know? What all you want to know? Come on. No. How'd you get the name Meatloaf? Huh? I don't know. Anyway, I get that. I've been asked that question forever. Look, I'm going to tell you. 4 days old, born 9.5 pounds, bright red. My dad was a redneck Dallas policeman. And I do stand-up comedy from time to time. I don't know if this actually happened, but this is part of my routine. My son looks like 9.5 pounds of ground chuck. So I want you nurses to get one of them cardboard signs that goes in the front of them plastic cribs, and on that little cardboard piece, you're going to write the name Meat. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm a Dallas policeman, and you have to do exactly what I tell you to do. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen to you. A Dallas policeman's going to take you in. So they did. And then he said, I want you to move that crib right up to the front of that window there in that nursery, so that everybody comes up to see their babies, they see Meat. And I don't know if that actually happened. I was there, but
I've actually heard him say that story in a bunch of different interviews. Now the audio is not that good. Like, the audio is not that loud, but I hope you guys can hear it because I turned it all the way up. But yeah, I have heard him say this story before.
Who knows? And so the love, you want to know about the love? I stepped on a coach's foot in the 8th grade. He screamed, "Get off my foot, you hunk of meatloaf." The next day I go in the locker room. The teammates have put up a sign on the locker, and it says, Meat, space, loaf. They gave me a first name.
I've heard this story too. It's a good one.
And the reason is, I've been called Meat from the time I was 4 days old. Not everybody, it was off and on, sporadically. Meat, had a 3rd grade teacher that liked calling me Meat. Meat, Meat. So they knew Meat. So they knew Meat, and they added the loaf. So it became 2 words, Meat, loaf. And also, it wasn't the food. Food's 1 word, I'm 2 words. And now, everybody, I'm telling you, everybody calls me Meat. I've got doctors that call me going, Meat, how you doing?
You can tell that I typed in Meatloaf together, but sometimes I do type it Meats /loaf because that's how he wanted it. That's how he wanted that name to be. And he has some pretty cool He had some pretty cool stories about that.
And
sorry.
Some of the nurses, they'll hi, and they get nervous. And I look at them. I say, look, you got to understand. Just think of me in the Stu, Chuck, and Frank family. Me, Chuck, Frank, and Stu. And they go, oh, yeah.
Can you explain the Frank, Chuck, and Stu reference?
You might remember this guy. Played baseball for the Los Angeles Angels. His name was Chili Davis. Okay,
I've heard him mention
I'm
this.
at an Alice Cooper celebrity golf event where you play with other people, and and they pay money to. So anyway, but the day before, Chili says to me, Meat, you want to go out and play a practice round? I said, yeah. So we went out, and I'm on the 4th hole. I'm keeping score, and I hadn't paid any attention to it. So I yell out, Chili, what'd you get? Oh, Chili got a 3. Okay, Stu, what'd you get? 3. Frank, what'd you get? 4. And Meat got a 5. And so it was Chili, Stu, Frank, and Meat. Come on. That's it. So I would say I'm like the Stu, Chuck, and Frank family. I took out Chili and put in Chuck because Chili's not an ordinary name, but Chuck is, and so is Stu, and so is Frank. So there you go.
So during what tour did you have the most fun, and can you tell us a bit about it?
Doing the Storytellers tour, which we loved that tour, and people loved that tour. And VH1, we were the only act that they let go out on the road and do Storytellers, because I really knew how to do it. Let me tell you a little story about Storytellers. I went to record my Storytellers for VH1. So the director walks up to me and goes, "Okay, what's your set list?" I go, "What? What do you mean, what's my set list?" "Yeah, what's your set list?" All the other bands, and I first, before they said that, I said, "I'm not psychic. I don't know." I said, and he goes, "Well, all the other bands have given me a set list." I said, "Well, all the other bands didn't do Storytellers, because the object of Storytellers was this. The audience asks you a question, and you play a song based on that question. So how am I supposed to give you a set list?" And then the head of VH1 walked in at the time and goes, what's happening? And the director goes, "He won't give me a set list." And I go, "It's not supposed to be." And he goes, "No, Meatloaf can do this. Meatloaf can handle this. I don't care what other people have done. You let Meatloaf run." And he did. The only thing they did was, at 3 hours and 15 minutes of this show, they came to me and said, because it's Saturday night, because we're running out of tape, and we got another 5 minutes, and then only 10 minutes left, so you got to do the last 5 minutes, and then, because we had said we were going to play Battle of Hell at the end. We told them we would play the end of All Revved Up to start, and Battle of Hell would be our closing song. And if any question happened about Battle of Hell, I'd say later. And so 5 minutes, and so I went back to the person who asked about Battle of Hell. I said, "Okay, now it's time for your question." And we played Battle of Hell, and that was it. So they ran out of tape.
Now we have to talk about the album Bat Out of Hell, which is one of the best-selling albums of all time. Can you tell us something about the process of creating the songs like 2 out of 3?
So I'm going to tell you a little story about 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad. Now, I know everybody thinks Svengali, Jim Steinman. Now, Jim Steinman is a genius and remarkable and really has a way with words. I mean, I've written songs. I had a #1 hit in the UK and a top 10 hit here with John Parr that I co-wrote with him. So I can write, and it wasn't all him on Bat Out of Hell, trust me. Todd Rundgren had a lot to do with it. I had a lot to do with it. Let's take, for example, Bat Out of Hell. He played me the song, then we changed a couple of things, but he played me the song up to the second chorus of Bat Out of Hell. I said, "Okay, where's the rest of the story?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you got this guy and this girl to this point. You got to finish the story." And so he comes back, and the next part, "I can see myself tearing up the road faster than any other boy has ever gone." And it gets to the point, "Never see the sudden curve till it's way too late." And then I said, "Let's repeat that." So we repeated that, and then we sang the next part. I said, "Okay, let's so it's my fault. The song is almost 11 minutes long, my fault. And so I repeated that. I said, "Okay, now when I repeat it, I'm going to shoot it up the octave," because it was down here.
Yeah.
I can't remember the words now, but I shot it up the octave. We finished, and I said, "Let's go up high on Bat Out of Hell." I ended on 3 high C's, and I said, "I'm ending up high," and he said, "That's a C. You okay?" I said, "Yeah, of course." And I was then. I can still hit it now, but not like that. I'm good for a B. B flat I can nail. C, a little tough. I used to be able to hit D. Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you another little story. Now, 2 out of 3 was written, okay? And Todd Rundgren rearranged it. Todd Rundgren and I, Jimmy was sick, and we rearranged All Revved Up with no place to go. And I said, no, we got to make this song, because all that southern Georgia stuff was really in. I said, we can't do that, but we got to make it close to that. And so we changed that. Jim Steinman, he was sick that day. He freaked out when we cut that track. He goes, "I don't, you can't do that." And Todd goes, "Yeah, it's great." And so that's what it is. Jim likes it now, but at the time he didn't. But I flipped it around on him a little bit. But on 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, he had the song done, and Todd rearranged some of it, but pretty much Jim nailed it. except for the first line, and he couldn't get the first line. And so Ty goes, we got to record this vocal today. I said, okay. So he started the tape. Now remember, we didn't have the first line. He started the tape, and I did a lot of improv. I worked with Belushi, I worked with Gilda, I replaced John in a show. It was an all improv show. So I studied improv. I know how to do improv.
Oh wait, can you tell us a secret of improv? Is there a trick?
The idea is you can never say no. You just have to keep, as they say, playing it forward. So you understand playing it forward, and that's improv. No matter what they say to you. So is you want the Jell-O? Do you like this Jell-O? You don't say, no, I don't like this Jell-O. You go, well, do they have boxes that come in that color? Which totally skews it,
that.
Okay? And then you can be funny. That would be funny if we were doing an improv. They have boxes in that color, which has nothing to do with Jell-O. So now, I'm going back to the story. Sorry, I go off on tangents.
He did, yeah.
I sang this. He started the tape, and out of my mouth, I waited for the intro, and it came. Baby, we can talk all night, but that ain't getting us nowhere. And I kept going, and I stopped down a little bit, and Doc goes, did you just sing the first line? I said, I don't know, did I? Because I get in the character, I'm lost. We played it back. We liked the first line. I sang it over because it could be better. And so I wrote the first line. I guess that's 2 lines. First 2 lines on 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So there.
Wait, let me pause it so I can read it. You talked about Jim Steinman, which I think is a genius. How did he come up with the story for Paradise by the Dashboard Light?
Yes, Jim Steinman is an absolute genius, but Paradise by the Dashboard Light is my story. The beginning is all my story, and I sit with the car, and we went through it and about dating a girl named, what was her name? Oh, Renee, see? And so Renee, his father later became mayor of Dallas, she had, well, large boobs, okay? And so I told Jimmy the story of me and Renee parking out by the lake over and over and over again. And I told him I had a convertible, a Ford convertible with an amazing dashboard. That's the story. That's where the dashboard light came from. So I told him the story, and I said, but every night we'd get to you know where, and she'd go, no, stop right there, stop right there. So that's where the line "stop right there" came from, and that's Paradise.
Okay, I gotta pause it when they have bigger questions. I heard a story that Art Shamsky, I've also heard of him because of other Meatloaf interviews. The 1969 world champion with the NY Mets helped you contracting Phil Rizzuto for the play-by-play of Part of Paradise. In a different interview, or in an interview with, I think it was Conan OBrien, Meatloaf explained contracting Phil Rizzuto for that part. And if I remember him correctly, Conan said, well, someone said that Phil Rizzuto didn't know about what the part he had to do, what it was for. And Meat was like, of course he knew what it was for, or he wouldn't have came in to do it. And I think that Meat also said that Phil Rizzuto lived like 3 houses down from a priest, and the priest was giving him heck because the song had like a sexual meaning to it. And he said when Phil Rizzuto got in the studio and he had to read, like, Meat and his band studied like everything Phil Rizzuto would say to make it sound like a play-by-play. But when he got in the studio to do it, he was just reading it monotone every time. So Meat said that he actually got up and ran the bases and stuff so that Phil Rizzuto could do a play-by-play accurately, which I found interesting. I'm sorry for almost going on a tangent there as well. Let's keep going. Okay, I think it's gonna. Okay, there it goes.
Yes. And Art Shamsky did book Phil Rizzuto. And Art Shamsky came in because we had asked for Phil Rizzuto. We wanted him to do the play-by-play. And Art came in, and we kind of made the deal with Art. And then he goes, but Phil wants to talk to you. And so Phil came in, and we talked to Phil, and he goes, well, do you have to take drugs to hear this song?
Yep.
And Jim looked at him and said, Phil, it's probably better
if you
don't do drugs when you listen to this song. And Phil kind of looked at him funny. Jim was serious, and I just laughed. And so Phil agreed to do the song. So we get to the day of, we wanted Phil to do what he does. There, holy cow! Look, be excited. And so Phil starts reading like this. There it is, a line shot up the middle.
Exactly.
Look at him go. He's rounding first and heading this. And so Todd's going, Todd, who had no patience at all. What's he doing out there? Okay, we don't have time for this. And Jim goes, Todd, stop it. We all both did. We all just hit Todd upside the head. Stop it. And so we go, Phil, like you do in game time. Or Jim did. Jim, like Phil, like you do in game. Oh, I got it. Okay. There it is. A line shot up the middle. Look at him go.
He did that in an interview too.
He's rounding first and heading for second. A little more expression. So Todd was getting really perturbed. We stopped.
Uh-oh.
Todd.
Sorry about that.
So I decided this.
I'll have to go back a little bit. Every time I do a reaction, somebody tries to call me. I'm very sorry. I tell people not to call me after 12. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I got it. Okay. There it is. A line shot up the middle. Look at him go. He's rounding first and heading for second. A little more expression. So Todd was getting really perturbed. We stop it, Todd. So I decided this. Now you got to figure I weigh 280 pounds, okay? I don't weigh that now. I only weighed 212 this morning. So anyway, that's still big. I want to weigh 195 just because I've never weighed that. Well, I did once. And so, and once after this diet, I was 195 and gained, 17 pounds. You almost gain weight. So anyway, I went out into the studio where he was doing, and I took a pizza box and something else, and I made bases. And I made a home plate. And I took off running around, and they said, go, and I took off running around, and Phil just stood there and watched me, and then I stopped, and I went, Phil, just do what I'm doing. Say what I'm doing. So I ran the pizza box, and he was going, look at that boy run. He's round. So, and then I didn't have to do that anymore. But I did. I ran the bases and went all the way home. Even though when I was home, he didn't say home. He just did the first one, and then he went, okay, and then he nailed it. So it was quite funny. And between Phil and Todd, it was a comedy routine. And I've done comedy routines based on that.
Okay. It's one of the best-selling albums of all time, yet the had a hard time entering the charts top 10 when it came out. Whoever typed that? Okay. These questions have a hard time fading out here. Oh. Do you have an explanation for this? Do you think there is a reason why it took a while for the album to enter the top 10? Well, I thought I heard somewhere, I don't know if it was in one of his interviews or not, but I heard that a lot of producers or a lot of record labels didn't want that record to be out. They said it was too long and too theatrical and not right for its time for some reason. But, I mean, that was back then. I think there was, I don't know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Meatloaf got John Belushi and Gilda Radner to pester Lorne Michaels for like months to get him on SNL, and I think he was the last slot on SNL, and that's when it broke, if I'm not mistaken. It takes forever for these questions to fade. I don't know why. Okay. Come on. There we go.
The album would not fit on vinyl. So we had to speed it up. And we sped it up in increments. So Bad Out of Hell wasn't so sped up. But when we got to 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, it was very sped up. And then when it was played on the radio, because it got played a lot later on in March and April and May and June, it got played a lot. And radio stations, and I know you know this, used to speed records up. So here we already have a sped up record to get it on vinyl. And then the radio stations are speeding it up even more. So it's baby, we can talk all night, but that ain't getting us nowhere. I was Alvin and the Chipmunks. It would come on the radio, and artists usually want to hear themselves on the radio. I had to turn it off. It was freaking me out. Anyway, it was a hit. But the guy, back in the day, how Billboard got their numbers and how you got chart positions was a guy from the record company would go to Billboard and tell them how many records you sold the last week. Well, the guy that was delivering the final numbers to Billboard every week hated the record, hated Bad Out of Hell. So Bad Out of Hell in July and the first week, maybe 2 in August, should have been number 1 in the country for 5 or 6 weeks. It didn't. It only was 11. He wouldn't even, we found this out, he would go in there and ask, how much did the number 10 record sell? And they'd tell him, he goes, oh man, he's just behind that. So every week we were 11. We were 11 for 8 weeks. So we've been in the top 10. And 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad, 9? But it should have been number 1 as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And on Bat 2, when finally nobody was reporting except for the people that were selling records, and SoundScan, now it's legitimate. Bad Out of Hell 2 is number 1. Anything for Love is number 1. Rock and Roll Dreams is number 8. So that's what would have happened on Bad Out of Hell had it been real. So anyway, but Bad Out of Hell is what? I don't know. Either the 5th, the 4th, the 3rd, or tied for the 2nd with AC/DC. I have no clue. But somewhere in the top 5 of all-time records sold, Michael Jackson is number 1, and then it's AC/DC, Me, and then it's the Eagles' Greatest Hits, and then after that, I'm trying to remember. Bee Gees, Saturday Night Fever, I believe, is in there. But it flips out every once in a while. You got another artist that flips in there. But the constants are the Eagles, Meatloaf, AC/DC, and Michael Jackson. So anyway, I thank you for helping us reach whatever that is. Because, you see, some artists going around with their chest puffed out and thinking, oh, I'm better than... I'm not. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I think I'm right with you. Right with you.
Okay. Now our final question. Another one you did not expect. We all want to know, what is that in Anything for Love? He had been asked that question millions of times, had to have. There are people who think it refers to having sex. Well, isn't it every line before the chorus? I remember him explaining it, but now I can't remember. I could be wrong though. But let's keep going.
Oh man, after you ask me how I got Meatloaf, you're going to ask me what that is? That's the 2 most common questions I'm asked. Okay, so anyway, if you go and get the lyrics, there's about 8 different phrases. I'll never stop dreaming of you every night of my life. I'll never do it better than I do it with you. Let's see. I see. I would do anything for love. I'd run right into hell and back. I would do anything for... Oh, I'll never lie to you, and that's a fact. I'll never stop dreaming of you every night of my life. That's it. That's the last one before the girl comes in. I'll never do it better than I do it with you. I'll never forget the way you feel right now. And there's 1, 2, 3 more. And but those are the lines. And the problem was this. It goes, I'll never stop dreaming of you, every night of my life. No way, I would do anything for love. Gonna change keys. I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. Now, you forgot what I just sang already, didn't you? Yeah, that's what happened. What did I sing? I forgot what I sang. Because it goes, I'll never forget the way you feel. I'll never stop dreaming of you every night of my life. I will do anything for love. I will do anything for love. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. No, I won't do that. Time you get to the second, I won't do that. You're going, what is that? So I understand. So now you know. It's the line before every chorus.
That's what I mean.
There is no secret, hidden sexual meaning. It's things like, I'll never forget the way you feel right now. I'll never stop dreaming of you. What was the first one I sang a while ago? Run right into hell and back. I would do anything for love. I'll never lie to you, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
No way. That's the rest of that line. I didn't sleep at all last night. That's another song, but it's not mine. So I'm raspy, I'm tired, I didn't sleep, my voice sucks at the moment. But I was trying. I gave it my all for you, because that's what I do. I go on stage and I give everything I have to give. I have nothing left when I walk off that stage. I promise you. And you can ask all my band and anybody that's worked for me. I walk off that stage, I hit a wall. And I don't know if you've seen pictures of me before taking oxygen because I'm asthmatic. Now
I have.
They gave me pills, so I don't need all that, but I still just walk off stage and just fall down. And then I lay there for like 6 minutes and then I get up and go on. But it's like running into a brick wall when the show's over. I run right off stage and it's like running full speed into a brick wall. Because every ounce of energy I have goes into that show, because those people at that show are the most important thing in the world to me, because I owe them, because they came to see me and I owe them.
Oh, reading that last part almost made me cry. That ending, the last few minutes, kind of made me cry. Man, I miss this man so much, and I never even got to see him live. I've been a fan of him ever since I was really little, and watching that Q&A really made my heart happy, but it also made me sad and happy at the same time to listen to it. And I really loved getting that as a request. And I had another friend on Facebook who wanted me to do the 2022 one, but that one might be a little bit more sad for me. So I might wait, because I'm trying to mix everything up and not do the same person over and over too many times. The audio was really low on this, so I'm going to see if there's a way I can fix it and make it sound a little bit louder. But I had it turned all the way up. That was kind of surprising, and I'm sorry that somebody called me. If you see a part of a little bit of the video cut out, that's because somebody called me while I was trying to do this. I'm sorry about that. But thank y'all for watching. That was amazing, and I pretty much knew about half the stuff he talked about in that, even though I've never seen this. I've just heard him mention it in a lot of different interviews. But thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell to get notified for new and upcoming reaction videos. My Facebook is at Have a Very Nice Day, and as always, thank y'all for watching.